My beloved child, before the foundation of the world was laid, before the stars were hung in their places, before the first breath of creation echoed through the void, I spoke your name. I declared your identity. A verdict was issued in the courts of heaven concerning who you are, what you mean to me, and what no force in heaven or earth can ever take from you. You are mine, not because of what you have done, not because of what you will do, but because I chose you, formed you, and stamped my image upon your very soul. The enemy has spent your entire life trying to convince you otherwise. He has whispered lies about your worth. He has pointed to your failures, your mistakes, your darkest moments, and told you that these things define you. He has used the voices of people who rejected you, circumstances that crushed you, and disappointments that broke you to convince you that you are less than what I say you are. But I am here in this moment to silence every one of those lies with the thunder of my voice and the certainty of my word. You are not what happened to you. You are not what you did in your weakness. You are not the sum of your regrets or the product of your pain. You are my child, and that identity cannot be shaken, cannot be stolen, and cannot be undone. I need you to understand something that will change everything about the way you see yourself and the way you walk through this world. Your identity is not something you earn. It is not something you achieve. It is not a prize at the end of a long road of good behavior and spiritual performance. Your identity is a gift I gave you the moment I thought of you. It was settled before you took your first breath. It was established before you ever had the chance to succeed or fail. You did not qualify for it. You did not work for it. You did not deserve it. I simply gave it to you because I wanted to. Because I love you. Because you are mine. There is a story in my word about a son who forgot his identity. He lived in his father's house surrounded by abundance, security, and love. But something inside him became restless. He began to look beyond the walls of his home and imagine a life where he was free to do whatever he wanted, to be whoever he wanted, without the boundaries and responsibilities that came with being a son. So he went to his father and asked for his inheritance. He asked for what was his, not because he wanted to honor the father who had given it to him, but because he wanted to leave. He wanted to go far away and live as if his father did not exist. And the father, with a breaking heart, gave him what he asked for, not because he approved of what his son was about to do, but because he loved him enough to let him choose. The son took the money, walked out of the house, and went to a distant country. And there, he spent everything. He poured his inheritance into pleasures that did not satisfy, friendships that did not last, and experiences that left him emptier than before. He traded his identity as a son for the illusion of freedom. He thought that being far from his father's house meant he was finally living. But what he discovered was that the farther he ran from his identity, the more lost he became. When the money was gone, so were the friends. When the parties ended, so did the laughter. He found himself alone, broken, and desperate. He took a job feeding pigs just to survive. And as he stood in that filthy pen, staring at the food the pigs were eating and realizing that he was hungry enough to want it, something shifted inside him. He remembered his father's house. He remembered the servants who had more than enough to eat, and he thought to himself, I will go back. I will tell my father that I am no longer worthy to be called his son. I will ask him to make me one of his hired servants, because even the lowest position in his house is better than this. Do you see what happened in that moment? The son had lost everything except one thing. He had lost his money, his friends, his dignity, and his sense of worth. But he had not lost his memory of who his father was, and that memory was enough to bring him home. He did not come back believing he could be a son again. He came back hoping to be a servant. He had convinced himself that his failures had disqualified him from the identity he once had. But what he did not know was that his father had been watching for him every single day since he left. His father had never stopped looking down that road, hoping to see his son coming home. And when the father finally saw him in the distance, he did not wait. He did not stand at the door with his arms crossed, ready to lecture him about everything he had done wrong. He ran. A dignified, wealthy, respected man ran down the road like a child, with tears streaming down his face because his son was coming home. And before the son could even finish his rehearsed speech about being unworthy, the father threw his arms around him, kissed him, and called for a robe, a ring, and sandals. He called for the best robe, the family ring, the sandals that only sons wore. He did not offer him a servant's position. He restored his identity. This is what I am doing for you right now. You have been standing in the pig pen of your own shame, your own guilt, your own sense of unworthiness, and you have been telling yourself that you are no longer qualified to be my child. You have been rehearsing speeches in your mind about how you will ask me to just let you serve me from a distance, to let you earn back what you think you lost. But I am here to tell you that you did not lose your identity. You cannot lose what I have given you. You are not my servant. You are my child, and I am not interested in your speeches or your promises to do better. I am interested in wrapping my arms around you and reminding you of who you are. The robe I am placing on your shoulders is not just a piece of clothing. It is a covering of my righteousness. It represents the fact that your worth is not determined by your performance but by my love. The ring I am placing on your finger is not just jewelry. It is a symbol of authority, of belonging, of your place in my family. The sandals I am putting on your feet are not just for comfort. They are a declaration that you are not a servant who walks barefoot. You are a son, a daughter who walks with dignity and purpose because you belong to me. I know what you are thinking. You are thinking about all the reasons why this does not make sense. You are thinking about the things you have done, the ways you have failed, the times you have walked away from me. You are thinking that there must be some kind of catch, some condition you have to meet before you can truly be called my child. But that is the voice of the enemy trying to keep you trapped in shame. That is not my voice. My voice is the one that calls you beloved, treasured, precious, and mine. Do you remember David? He was a man after my own heart. But he was not a perfect man. He committed adultery with a woman named Bathsheba. He tried to cover it up by bringing her husband home from war, hoping he would sleep with his wife and believe the child she was carrying was his. When that plan failed, David had him killed. He sent one of his most loyal soldiers to the front lines of the battle with orders to abandon him there so he would die. And then he took Bathsheba as his own wife and tried to move on as if nothing had happened. But I sent a prophet named Nathan to confront him. Nathan told him a story about a rich man who had many flocks, and a poor man who had only one little lamb that he loved like a daughter. When the rich man needed to prepare a meal for a guest, he did not take from his own flocks. He took the poor man's lamb, killed it, and served it. When David heard the story, he was furious. He said the man who did that deserved to die. And Nathan looked him in the eye and said, "You are that man." David's sin was exposed. His guilt was undeniable. He had broken my law in the worst possible ways. But when he was confronted, he did not make excuses. He did not blame Bathsheba or justify his actions. He fell on his face before me and said, "I have sinned against you. Against you only have I sinned." He wrote a psalm that became a prayer for every person who has ever felt the crushing weight of their own failure. He said, "Have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love. Wash away all my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. Create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Do not cast me from your presence or take your Holy Spirit from me." And do you know what I did? I forgave him. I did not cast him away. I did not strip him of his identity as a man after my own heart. I disciplined him. Yes, there were consequences for his sin, but I did not reject him. I restored him, because his identity was not based on his perfection. It was based on my choice. I chose David. I anointed him. I called him mine, and nothing he did could change that. The same is true for you. I am not blind to your sin. I am not pretending you have not made mistakes. I see it all. Every selfish choice, every moment of rebellion, every time you walked away from me or chose your own way over mine. I see it, but I also see something else. I see the blood of my Son covering it all. I see the cross where every sin you have ever committed and every sin you ever will commit was nailed to the wood and put to death. I see the empty tomb that proved death and sin and shame have no power over those who belong to me. And when I look at you, I do not see a sinner who barely made it into my family. I see a son. I see a daughter. I see someone I love with an everlasting love. Your identity is not a reward for good behavior. It is a declaration of my grace. You did not earn it by being better than others. You did not lose it by being worse than others. It is a gift, and I do not take back my gifts. I do not change my mind about who you are. People may reject you. Circumstances may crush you. The enemy may accuse you day and night. But none of that changes the truth that was settled before the world began. You are mine. I know you have spent so much of your life trying to prove your worth. You have worked hard to make people see you, to earn their approval, to convince them that you are valuable. You have measured your worth by your accomplishments, your appearance, your relationships, your success, and every time you fell short, every time you failed to meet the standard, you felt like you were less than, like you did not measure up, like you were not enough. I have watched you exhaust yourself trying to be perfect for people who will never be satisfied. I have seen you bend and twist and mold yourself into whatever shape you thought would finally win their acceptance. I have observed you sacrificing your own peace, your own joy, your own sense of self, all in the desperate hope that maybe this time, if you try hard enough, you will finally be worthy of love. And my heart breaks, because you have been chasing something that was already yours. You have been running a race that has no finish line. Because no matter how much you accomplish, the world will always demand more. No matter how hard you work, the standards will always shift. No matter how perfectly you perform, someone will always find a flaw. You cannot win at a game that was designed to keep you perpetually striving, perpetually inadequate, perpetually not enough. And you were never meant to play that game in the first place. I created you for something entirely different. I created you to receive love, not to earn it. I created you to rest in your identity, not to strive for it. I created you to live from a place of acceptance, not to constantly be seeking it. And the tragedy is that so many of my children spend their entire lives trying to get from the world what they already have from me. They are dying of thirst while standing beside an infinite ocean. They are starving while seated at a banquet table. They are begging for scraps when they are heirs to everything I own. This is what the enemy does. He convinces you that your worth must be earned. He whispers that you are only as valuable as your last achievement. He suggests that love is conditional, acceptance is performance-based, and belonging must be constantly maintained through perfect behavior. And because the world operates this way, because human relationships so often function on these terms, you assume that I operate the same way. But I do not. When I look at you, I do not see a performance that needs improvement. I see a child I love. I do not see a project that needs fixing. I see a person I delight in. I do not see a failure that needs redemption. I see someone I have already redeemed. The work is finished. The price is paid. The verdict is declared. You are mine. And nothing you do or do not do can change that fundamental reality. This is why I tell you that your identity is a gift, not a reward. Because if it were a reward, it could be earned through effort. And if it could be earned, it could also be lost through failure. But because it is a gift, freely given based on my grace rather than your merit, it cannot be taken away. You did not work for it, so you cannot lose it by failing to work hard enough. You did not deserve it, so you cannot become undeserving of it. I gave it to you because I wanted to, and what I give, I do not take back. But I need you to hear this. You were never meant to measure your worth by those things. You were never meant to find your identity in what you do or what people think of you. Your identity is found in who I say you are. And I say you are chosen. I say you are loved. I say you are forgiven. I say you are mine. And I do not base that declaration on your performance. I base it on my character. I am the God who does not lie. I am the God who does not change. I am the God who keeps his promises. And I promise that if you belong to me, Nothing can separate you from my love. Think about what this means in practical terms. It means that when you wake up in a moment feeling like a failure, your identity has not changed. When you snap at someone you love and immediately regret it, your identity has not changed. When you fall into a pattern of behavior you thought you had conquered, your identity has not changed. When you look at your life and see all the ways you are not who you wish you were, your identity has not changed. Because your identity is not based on who you are in your own strength. It is based on whose you are. You belong to me. That is your identity. Not what you do. Not what you achieve. Not what others think of you. Not how you feel about yourself. You belong to me. And because you belong to me, you have access to everything I am. My strength covers your weakness. My righteousness covers your sin. My perfection covers your failure. My love covers your inadequacy. You are not naked and exposed in your brokenness. You are clothed in my righteousness, covered by my grace, and hidden in my love. This is the scandal of the gospel. This is what religious systems cannot tolerate and what legalistic hearts cannot accept. That you could be loved not for what you bring, but simply for who you are. That you could be accepted not based on your performance, but based on my grace. That you could belong not because you earned it, but because I chose you. It offends human logic. It contradicts worldly wisdom. It makes no sense to people who operate from a paradigm of merit and earning and deserving. But it is the foundation of my kingdom. In my kingdom, the first are last, and the last are first. The weak are strong, the poor are rich, the broken are whole, the sinners are saints, the lost are found, the dead are alive. Everything is upside down compared to the world's economy. And at the center of it all is grace. Unearned, undeserved, freely given grace that changes everything. Not your mistakes, not your past, not your doubts or your fears or your weaknesses, not the voices that tell you that you are too broken to be loved or too far gone to be saved, not the shame that makes you want to hide or the guilt that makes you want to run. Nothing can separate you from my love because my love is not based on you. It is based on me. And I do not fail. There is a lie the enemy has been whispering to you for years. He has been telling you that you have to clean yourself up before you can come to me, that you have to get your life together, break your bad habits, fix your mistakes, and prove that you are serious about following me before I will accept you. But that is not how my love works. I do not wait for you to be perfect before I call you my child. I call you my child while you are still a mess. I run to you while you are still covered in the mud of your mistakes. I wrap my arms around you while you are still rehearsing your apologies. Because my love is not conditional. It is not something you have to earn or maintain. It is something I freely give. And here is the truth that will set you free. When you finally understand and accept your identity as my beloved child, everything else in your life begins to change. Not because you're trying harder to be good, but because you are finally secure in who you are. When you know that you are loved unconditionally, you stop striving for approval. When you know that you are forgiven completely, you stop hiding in shame. When you know that you are accepted fully, you stop pretending to be someone you are not. Your identity in me is the foundation for everything else. It is the truth that anchors your soul when the storms of life try to pull you under. It is the voice that silences the lies of the enemy when he tries to convince you that you are worthless. It is the reality that sets you free from the prison of performance and the exhaustion of trying to earn love that has already been given. I am not asking you to be perfect. I am not demanding that you never fail or never doubt or never struggle. I am asking you to believe what I say about you. I am asking you to stop listening to the voices that tell you that you are not enough and start listening to my voice that says you are everything to me. I am asking you to let go of the identity the world has tried to give you and embrace the identity I have given you from the beginning. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are defined by my mercy. You are not defined by your failures. You are defined by my faithfulness. You are not defined by your weakness. You are defined by my strength that is made perfect in your weakness. You are not defined by what you have lost. You are defined by what I have given you, and what I have given you is eternal life, unconditional love, and an identity that cannot be shaken. There will be days when you do not feel like my child. There will be moments when the weight of your past or the noise of the present makes you forget who you are. There will be times when the enemy comes at you with accusations and lies, trying to convince you that you have forfeited your place in my family. But in those moments, I need you to remember this. Your feelings do not determine your identity. Your circumstances do not define your worth. My word defines who you are, and my word says you are chosen, loved, forgiven, and mine. I did not choose you because you were the strongest or the smartest or the most talented. I did not choose you because you had something to offer me. I chose you because I wanted you. I chose you because I saw you, not as you are, but as you would become in my hands. I chose you because I knew that when my love got hold of you, when my grace began to work in you, when my spirit started to transform you, you would become a testimony of my power and my goodness. You would become living proof that I do not give up on my children, no matter how far they run or how badly they fail. And I need you to know that I am not finished with you. I am still working. I am still shaping. I am still transforming. There are layers of shame and fear and insecurity that I am peeling away. There are lies that I am replacing with truth. There are wounds that I am healing and broken places that I am restoring. And through it all, your identity remains the same. You are my beloved child. You are the one I chose. You are the one I love. You are the one I will never let go of. I see the way you look at others and compare yourself. I see the way you measure your worth by their success and feel less than because they seem to have what you do not. But you are not them. You are you. And I made you exactly the way I wanted you to be. I gave you the personality you have, the gifts you have, the story you have, because that is what I needed to accomplish my purposes in your life. You are not a mistake. You are not an accident. You are not a backup plan. You are my intentional, purposeful, carefully designed child. And I am proud of you. Not because you are perfect, but because you are mine. Not because you have it all together, but because you keep showing up even when you feel like giving up. Not because you have never failed, but because you have the courage to get back up every time you fall. I am proud of you for still being here, still believing, still hoping, still trusting that I am who I say I am, and that I will do what I said I will do. That takes strength, that takes faith, and I see it, I honor it, I celebrate it. There are people in your life who do not understand your worth. They treat you as if you are disposable, as if you are less than, as if you do not matter. But their blindness does not change your value. A diamond does not lose its worth because someone mistakes it for a rock. Gold does not become worthless because someone does not recognize it. And you do not become less valuable because someone fails to see what I see in you. You are priceless, not because of what you do, but because of whose you are. I have watched you shrink yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. I have seen you dim your light so that others would feel more comfortable. I have observed you hiding your gifts, silencing your voice, and minimizing your presence because someone communicated through words or actions that you were too much or not enough. And I want you to know that their inability to appreciate you says nothing about your value and everything about their limitations. Some people cannot see gold because they have only ever valued copper. Some people cannot appreciate diamonds because they have only ever collected stones. Some people cannot recognize beauty because their vision has been so distorted by pain and brokenness that they see everything through a filter of criticism and judgment. Their assessment of you is not accurate. It is not authoritative. It is not final. It is simply their opinion, filtered through their experiences, colored by their wounds, and limited by their perspective. But my assessment of you is different. I see you clearly. I see past the mistakes and the flaws. I see past the fear and the insecurity. I see past the performance and the pretending. I see the real you, the you I created, the you I designed, the you I love. And when I look at you, I do not see someone who needs to try harder or do better or be different. I see someone who is exactly who I wanted them to be. someone who is precious beyond measure, someone who is worth everything to me. Do you know why you are so valuable? It is not because of any inherent quality you possess. It is not because you are particularly talented or beautiful or intelligent or gifted. Those things may be true, but they are not what makes you valuable. You are valuable because I made you in my image. You carry my DNA. You bear my likeness. When I breathed life into you, I breathed something of myself into you. And that makes you infinitely, eternally, unchangeably valuable. But more than that, you are valuable because of what I paid for you. When something is purchased at great cost, that cost establishes its value. If someone pays $1 million for a painting, that painting is worth $1 million, regardless of whether anyone else understands why. The price paid determines the value, and I paid for you with the blood of my son. I gave the most precious thing I had to make you mine. That is your value. Not what others think of you. Not what you think of yourself, but what I was willing to pay to have you. I bought you with the blood of my son. I paid the highest price that could ever be paid to make you mine. I gave up everything so that you could have everything. I endured the cross, the shame, the separation, the agony, so that you could be called my child. Do you think I did all of that for someone who does not matter? Do you think I would go to such lengths for someone who is not worth it? You are worth it. You have always been worth it, and nothing will ever change that. When Jesus hung on that cross, your name was on his heart. When the nails pierced his hands, he was thinking of you. When the crown of thorns was pressed into his skull, he was seeing you. When he cried out in agony, he was bearing your pain. When he breathed his last breath, he was purchasing your freedom. Every moment of that excruciating sacrifice was for you, specifically, personally, intentionally. He did not die for humanity in some vague, general sense. He died for you. If you had been the only person who ever needed saving, he would have gone to that cross just for you. Because you are worth it. You have always been worth it to me. And I need you to stop letting other people's opinions or your own negative self-assessment convince you otherwise. Your value is not up for debate. It is not subject to popular vote. It is not determined by consensus. I have declared your worth. I have established your value. I have paid the price that proves what you mean to me. And no one, not the enemy, not other people, not even you yourself, has the authority to contradict what I have declared. So when people treat you as if you do not matter, remember the cross. When you feel worthless and disposable, remember the price that was paid. When you are tempted to believe that you have no value, look at Calvary. That is your worth. That is your value. That is what you mean to me. And nothing anyone says or does can change that unchangeable reality. I am calling you out of the shadows of shame and into the light of my love. I am calling you out of the prison of performance and into the freedom of grace. I am calling you out of the lies that have kept you bound and into the truth that will set you free. You are not who the enemy says you are. You are not who your past says you are. You are not who your failures say you are. You are who I say you are. And I say you are my beloved child, chosen before the foundation of the world, redeemed by the blood of the Lamb, sealed with my Spirit, and destined for glory. This is not just a nice sentiment. This is not just religious language. This is the foundation of your entire existence. This is the truth that will carry you through every storm, every battle, every season of doubt and fear. When you know who you are, you cannot be shaken. When you know whose you are, you cannot be moved. When you know that your identity is secure in me, you can face anything because you know that nothing can take away what I have given you. I am not asking you to earn my love. I am asking you to receive it. I am not asking you to prove your worth. I am asking you to believe what I say about your worth. I am not asking you to clean yourself up before you come to me. I am asking you to come to me as you are, and let me do the cleaning. Because that is my job, not yours. Your job is to believe. Your job is to trust. Your job is to rest in the truth that you are mine, and I am yours, and nothing will ever change that. I know this is hard for you to grasp because it is so different from everything you have experienced. Every relationship you have had with humans has taught you that love is conditional, that acceptance must be maintained, that belonging can be lost. People have loved you when you were useful and abandoned you when you were not. They have accepted you when you met their expectations and rejected you when you disappointed them. They have included you when you fit in and excluded you when you did not. And so you assume that I am the same. But I am not a person. I am God. And I do not love like humans love. I do not accept based on performance. I do not give belonging as a reward for good behavior. My love is not fickle or conditional or changeable. It is steady, constant, and eternal. It does not rise and fall with your spiritual temperature. It does not waver based on your obedience. It does not fluctuate according to your feelings or your circumstances or your failures. When I say I love you, I mean it with a love that has no beginning and no end. When I say you are mine, I mean it with a commitment that cannot be broken. When I say you are my child, I mean it with a permanence that cannot be undone. This is not temporary. This is not trial period. This is not probationary. This is forever. You are my child forever. Nothing can change that. Nothing will change that. Nothing has the power to change that. I need you to let this reality sink so deeply into your soul that it becomes the bedrock of your existence. Because when you truly understand that your identity as my child is permanent and unchangeable, it transforms everything. You stop living in fear that you might lose my love. You stop walking on eggshells worried that one wrong move might disqualify you. You stop performing and pretending and trying to be perfect. You rest. You receive. You breathe. You live. And from that place of rest, transformation happens naturally, not forced, not manufactured, not through sheer willpower and determination, but organically, supernaturally, as my spirit works in you and through you. You begin to live differently, not because you have to, but because you want to. Not because you are afraid of consequences, but because you are motivated by love. Not because you are trying to maintain your identity, but because you are living from your identity. This is the difference between religion and relationship. Religion says you have to earn your place through obedience and performance. Relationship says your place is already secure, and obedience flows naturally from love and gratitude. Religion says you have to work to maintain your standing. Relationship says your standing is permanent, and transformation happens as you rest in that security. Religion exhausts you with demands. Relationship energizes you with love. So stop striving. Stop performing. Stop trying to earn something that has already been given. Stop letting the voices of shame and condemnation drown out the voice of your Father who calls you beloved. Stop measuring your worth by the standards of a world that does not know my love. Stop believing the lies that say you are too broken, too dirty, too far gone to be called my child. You are not too much of anything. You are exactly what I want. You are exactly who I chose. You are exactly where you belong. And in the moments when you forget, when the weight of life makes you question your worth, when the enemy whispers lies that make you doubt my love, I will be here to remind you. I will be here to speak truth over the lies. I will be here to wrap my arms around you and tell you again and again that you are mine, that you are loved, that you are chosen, that you are forgiven, that you are free. You are not walking this road alone. You are not facing this battle by yourself. You are not carrying this burden on your own strength. I am with you. I am in you. I am for you. And I will never leave you. I will never abandon you. I will never give up on you. Because you are my child. And I do not abandon my children. There is a reason you are reading these words right now. There is a reason your eyes are scanning this page and your heart is stirring within you. It is because I am calling you back to the truth of who you are. I am calling you out of the lies and into the light. I am calling you to remember that you are not defined by your past, your mistakes, or your failures. You are defined by my love, my grace, and my choice. And I chose you, not because of what you have done, but because of who I am. I am the God who loves the unlovable, who chooses the unchosen, who calls the unworthy and makes them worthy by my grace. This is your identity. This is your foundation. This is the truth that will set you free and keep you free. You are my beloved child. You are chosen. You are loved. You are forgiven. You are mine. And nothing in all creation can ever change that. So walk in that truth. Live in that freedom. Rest in that love. And when the enemy comes to remind you of who you were, remind him of who you are now. Remind him that you are a child of the Most High God, redeemed by the blood of Jesus, filled with the Holy Spirit, and destined for eternity in my presence. Remind him that you are not defined by your past, but by my promises. Remind him that you are not who he says you are, but who I say you are. And I say, you are mine. And because you are mine, you have access to everything I am. You have access to my strength when you are weak. You have access to my peace when you are anxious. You have access to my wisdom when you are confused. You have access to my hope when you are discouraged. You have access to my love when you feel unloved. You have access to my presence when you feel alone. You are not just called my child in name. You are my child in every way that matters. And everything I have is yours. This is not something you have to wait for. This is not something that happens when you finally get your life together or when you reach some level of spiritual maturity. This is yours right now, in this moment, as you are, with all your flaws, all your doubts, all your struggles. You are my child now. You are loved now. You are accepted now. You are forgiven now. You are free now. So let that truth sink deep into your soul. Let it replace the lies that have kept you in bondage. Let it wash away the shame that has kept you hiding. Let it silence the voices that have told you that you are not enough, because you are enough. Not because of what you bring to the table, but because of what I bring to the table. And I bring everything. I bring grace that covers all sin. I bring love that never fails. I bring mercy that is new every moment. I bring forgiveness that wipes the slate clean. I bring an identity that cannot be shaken. And that identity is yours. It was always yours. It will always be yours. Because I gave it to you, and I do not take back my gifts. I do not change my mind about my children. I do not love you less when you fail or more when you succeed. My love is constant, unchanging, and eternal. And so is your identity in me. You are my beloved child. You are chosen. You are treasured. You are accepted. You are forgiven. You are free. And you are mine. Forever. Now let me speak to your heart about the practical reality of living in this identity. Because knowing who you are is only the beginning. Living from that place of security and acceptance is where transformation truly happens. When you wake each moment and remember that you are loved not for what you accomplish, but for who you are, everything changes. The pressure lifts. The striving ends. The performance stops. I see you trying so hard to be good enough. I watch you exhaust yourself trying to measure up to standards that were never meant for you. I see the way you punish yourself when you fall short. The way you withdraw from me thinking I must be disappointed. The way you work overtime trying to make up for your failures. And my heart breaks because you are operating from a place of insecurity rather than from the truth of your identity. When you truly grasp that you are my child, accepted and loved completely, you stop living for my approval and start living from my approval. You already have it. You already belong. You are already mine. There is nothing you can do to make me love you more. There is nothing you can do to make me love you less. My love is not a fluctuating commodity based on your spiritual performance. It is a constant, unchanging reality that forms the bedrock of your existence. This means you can stop pretending. You can stop hiding the parts of yourself that you think are unacceptable. You can stop putting on a mask for me and for others, pretending to have it all together when you are falling apart inside. I already see you. All of you. The good, the bad, the beautiful, the broken. And I love all of it because all of it is you. And you are mine. I want you to understand the freedom that comes with this. When you know you are unconditionally loved, you can be honest about your struggles without fear of rejection. You can admit your weaknesses without shame. You can confess your failures without terror that I will cast you out. Because your position in my family is not based on your perfection. It is based on my grace. This identity I have given you is meant to be the lens through which you see everything else. When challenges come, and they will come, you face them not as an orphan trying to figure it out alone, but as my child with full access to everything I have. When people reject you, and some will, you do not crumble because your worth is not determined by their acceptance. It is determined by mine. When you fail, and you will fail because you are human, you do not spiral into despair because your identity is not contingent on your success. It is anchored in my unchanging love. I need you to see how different this is from the way the world operates. The world tells you that you have to earn your place, prove your value, compete for limited resources of love and acceptance. The world tells you that you are only as good as your last achievement, only as valuable as your current contribution. The world tells you that failure disqualifies you, weakness makes you worthless, and mistakes define you permanently. But I operate from a completely different paradigm. In my kingdom, weakness is the gateway to experiencing my strength. Failure is the opportunity for grace to shine. Mistakes are the canvas on which my redemption is displayed. You do not earn your place in my family. You receive it as a gift. You do not prove your value. I declare it. You do not compete for my love. You rest in the reality that it is already yours in infinite supply. This is why the enemy fights so hard to keep you from understanding your true identity. Because once you grasp it, once you really believe it and live from it, you become unstoppable. Not in your own strength, but in mine working through you. You stop being paralyzed by fear of failure because failure no longer has the power to define you. You stop being controlled by the opinions of others because you know whose opinion actually matters. You stop living small, playing it safe, hiding your light under a bushel, because you understand that you were created for more than survival. You were created to display my glory. When you know you are my child, you start taking risks that terrified you before. You start speaking truth when you used to stay silent. You start pursuing dreams you had buried because someone told you they were impossible. You start standing up to injustice instead of tolerating it. You start using your voice instead of hiding in the shadows. Not because you suddenly became confident in yourself, but because you became confident in me and in the identity I have given you. This is what I want for you. Not just theological knowledge about being my child, but experiential reality of living as my child. I want you to wake up knowing you are loved. I want you to face your day knowing you are empowered. I want you to interact with others knowing you are secure. I want you to go to sleep at peace, knowing that nothing can separate you from me. But I also need to warn you. The enemy will not stop trying to steal this truth from you. He will use circumstances to make you doubt my love. He will use people to make you question your worth. He will use your own thoughts to accuse you and condemn you. He will whisper that you are not really my child, that you have disqualified yourself, that you have gone too far, that I have given up on you. When those whispers come, and they will come, you must fight back with truth. You must speak my word over yourself. You must remind yourself of the verdict that was issued in heaven before you were born. You must declare your identity, even when you do not feel it, especially when you do not feel it. Because your identity is not based on your feelings. It is based on my declaration, and I have declared that you are mine. There will be seasons when this truth feels distant. There will be moments when shame screams louder than love. There will be days when your failures seem more real than my grace. In those times, do not trust your feelings. Trust my word. Do not believe the lies. Believe the truth. Do not look at your circumstances as evidence of who you are. Look at the cross as evidence of what you mean to me. I hung on that cross for you specifically. Your name was on my lips. Your sins were on my shoulders. Your shame was covering my face. Your guilt was crushing my chest. I took all of it, every bit of it, so that you could be free from it, so that you could walk in the identity of a beloved child rather than a condemned criminal, so that you could live in freedom rather than bondage, in light rather than darkness, in love rather than fear. This is the gospel. This is the good news. Not that you can become my child if you try hard enough, but that you are my child if you receive what I am offering. Not that you can earn my love through religious performance, but that you already have my love simply by accepting it. Not that you have to clean up your life before I will accept you, but that I accept you as you are, and then empower you to be transformed from the inside out. Your identity as my child is the anchor that holds you steady when everything else is shaking. It is the truth that silences every lie. It is the foundation that cannot be moved. Build your life on this rock. Build your decisions on this truth. Build your future on this reality. You are my beloved child. Nothing can change that. No one can take that from you. It is yours, forever. And because you are my child, you have a future that is secure. You have hope that cannot be extinguished. You have purpose that cannot be thwarted. You have value that cannot be diminished. You have potential that cannot be exhausted. You have resources that cannot be depleted. Because all of this comes not from who you are in yourself, but from whose you are. You are mine, and I am infinite. So stop living like an orphan. Stop operating from a place of lack and fear. Stop striving and performing and pretending. Come home to the truth of who you are. You are my beloved child. You are chosen. You are wanted. You are treasured. You are protected. You are provided for. You are guided. You are empowered. You are transformed. You are loved. This is not conditional. This is not temporary. This is not uncertain. This is absolute, eternal, unchanging truth. You are my child, and nothing in all creation, not height nor depth, not angels nor demons, not the present nor the future, not your failures nor your weaknesses, not your past nor your fears about the future. Nothing can separate you from my love. Nothing can change your identity. Nothing can remove you from my family. So rest in this. Build on this. Live from this. You are my beloved child, and that changes everything. Let me show you what this looks like in the daily moments of your life. When you wake and the first thought that enters your mind is worry about all that you have to face, pause. Remember whose child you are. Remember that before you take your first step, I have already gone before you to prepare the way. Remember that the battles you will face are not yours alone, because you do not walk this road as an orphan. You walk it as my beloved child with full access to my strength, my wisdom, my provision, and my protection. When someone speaks words that wound you, words that question your value or diminish your worth, you do not have to internalize those words as truth. You can hold them up against what I say about you and recognize them as lies. People speak from their own brokenness, their own insecurity, their own pain, and often they project onto you what they believe about themselves. But their assessment of you does not define you. Only mine does. And I say you are precious, valued, loved, and chosen. When you make a mistake, and I know you will because you are human, and mistakes are part of the journey, you do not have to spiral into shame and self-condemnation. You can acknowledge the mistake, learn from it, make it right where possible, and then move forward in the knowledge that your identity is not tied to your performance. You are not loved less because you failed. You are not suddenly unqualified to be my child because you stumbled. My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in your weakness. And every mistake is an opportunity for you to experience my forgiveness in a deeper way. When you look at your life and see all the ways it does not measure up to what you thought it would be by now, when you see the dreams that have not materialized, and the prayers that seem unanswered, and the doors that remain closed, you do not have to conclude that I have forgotten you, or that you somehow missed your chance. My timing is perfect, even when it makes no sense to you. My plans are good, even when your circumstances look bad. And your identity as my child is not dependent on you having achieved certain milestones, or reached certain goals. You are my child in the waiting, in the struggle, in the not yet. You are my child when nothing makes sense and everything feels uncertain. You are my child always. When financial pressure mounts and you do not know how you will make ends meet, when the bills pile up and the resources seem inadequate, you do not have to give in to panic and fear. You can remember that your Heavenly Father owns everything and that you have access to His unlimited resources. This does not mean you will never face financial challenges. It means you never face them alone. And it means that your worth is not tied to your net worth. You are not less valuable to me because you have less money. You are not more worthy of my love because you are financially stable. Your identity as my beloved child remains constant regardless of your economic situation. When relationships break and people you trusted walk away, when friendships dissolve and connections are severed, when you feel abandoned and alone, you can anchor yourself in the truth that I will never leave you. People are human and flawed, and sometimes they disappoint, sometimes they betray, sometimes they choose their own path over remaining connected to you. And while that hurts deeply, it does not change who you are. You are still my child. You are still loved. You are still chosen. And I am still with you even when everyone else has gone. When your body fails you, when sickness invades and health deteriorates, when you do not have the energy you once had or the strength you used to possess, you can remember that your identity is not tied to your physical capacity. You are not less my child because you are less physically able. Your value is not determined by what you can do, but by whose you are. And even in weakness, even in sickness, even in limitations, you are fully and completely my beloved child. When you feel spiritually dry, when prayer feels like talking to the ceiling and worship feels empty and my presence seems distant, you do not have to panic and think you have lost your place in my family. Spiritual seasons change. Feelings come and go. But your identity remains constant. You are my child in the mountaintop experiences and in the valley of shadows. You are my child when you feel close to me and when you feel far away. Because your position is not based on your feelings. It is based on my unchanging commitment to you. I want you to understand something profound. The religious system often teaches that your relationship with me is transactional. That if you do the right things, say the right prayers, attend the right services, follow the right rules, then I will love you and bless you. And if you fail to measure up, if you break the rules, if you miss the mark, then I will withdraw my love and withhold my blessing. But that is not how I operate. That is not the nature of my love. That is not the foundation of your identity as my child. Your relationship with me is not transactional. It is covenantal. I made a covenant with you that is not dependent on your faithfulness but on mine. I promise to be your God and to make you my child. And I do not break my promises. I do not change my mind. I do not take back what I have given. You are my child, not because you earned it, but because I declared it. And what I have declared cannot be undone by your failures or your doubts or your struggles. This is radically different from how the world operates. In the world, love is conditional. Acceptance is earned. Approval is based on performance. You are only as good as your last success. You are only as valuable as your current contribution. And if you fail, if you stumble, if you do not measure up, you are discarded and replaced. But in my kingdom, love is unconditional. Acceptance is a gift. Approval is already yours. And when you fail, I do not discard you. I restore you. I need you to let this sink deeply into your heart, because this is the foundation of everything. If you do not grasp your identity as my beloved child, you will spend your life trying to earn something you already have. You will exhaust yourself trying to prove something that is already established. You will live in constant fear that you might lose what cannot be taken from you. And you will miss the joy and freedom and peace that come from resting in the security of who you are in me. Think about the prodigal son again. When he returned home, his father did not make him work his way back into the family. He did not put him on probation or make him prove he had really changed. He did not give him a servant's position with the promise that maybe, if he worked hard enough and behaved well enough, he might one day be restored to sonship. No. The father immediately restored his identity. The robe, the ring, the sandals. These were not rewards for good behavior. They were declarations of identity. You are my son. You never stopped being my son. And nothing you did in that far country changed that fundamental reality. This is what I am doing for you. I am not waiting for you to prove yourself. I am not holding your identity hostage until you get your life together. I am declaring right now, in this moment, regardless of where you have been, or what you have done, or how far you think you have fallen, you are my child. That is not conditional. That is not temporary. That is permanent reality. And when you begin to live from this place of security, when you truly believe and embrace your identity as my beloved child, transformation happens naturally. Not forced transformation that comes from trying harder and doing better and white-knuckling your way to holiness, but organic transformation that flows from the inside out as my Spirit works in you and through you. You begin to make different choices, not because you have to, but because you want to. Not because you are afraid of punishment, but because you are motivated by love. Not because you are trying to earn my approval, but because you already have it, and you want to honor the one who loves you so completely. Your identity as my child gives you a foundation that cannot be shaken. When the storms come, and they will come, you do not crumble because you are built on solid rock. When the winds blow, and they will blow, you do not get swept away because you are anchored in truth. When the floods rise, and they will rise, you do not drown because you are held by hands that will never let you go. This is not theory. This is not religious rhetoric. This is the practical reality of what it means to be my child. You have a Father who loves you unconditionally, who accepts you completely, who forgives you freely, who provides for you generously, who protects you faithfully, who guides you wisely, who empowers you supernaturally, and who will never, ever abandon you. Do you know what this means? It means you can stop trying to be someone you are not. You can stop pretending to have it all together when you are falling apart. You can stop hiding your struggles and presenting a perfect facade to the world. You can be real. You can be authentic. You can be vulnerable, because you are secure in who you are. You are my child, and nothing can change that. It means you can stop comparing yourself to others. You can stop measuring your worth by their success. You can stop feeling inferior when they seem to have what you do not, because you are not them. You are you, and I made you exactly the way I wanted you to be for the unique purpose I have for your life. They have their race to run. You have yours. They have their gifts to steward. You have yours. They have their story to live. You have yours. And all of it together displays the infinite creativity and wisdom of the God who made you. It means you can stop living in fear. Fear that you will not be enough. Fear that you will fail. Fear that you will be rejected. Fear that you will be abandoned. Fear that you will lose what you have. Fear that you will never get what you want. Fear that your past will define your future. Fear that your mistakes will disqualify you. All of that fear can be silenced by the truth of your identity. You are my child. I am with you. I am for you. And nothing can separate you from my love. It means you can stop striving. You can stop pushing and forcing and trying to make things happen in your own strength. You can rest in the knowledge that I am working all things together for your good. You can trust my timing instead of demanding your timeline. You can surrender control instead of clinging to it desperately. You can let go of outcomes and simply walk in obedience, knowing that I am responsible for the results. It means you can stop hiding. You can stop running from your past. You can stop avoiding the painful memories and the shameful moments. Because I have already dealt with all of it at the cross. There is no sin too great for my blood to cover. There is no shame too deep for my grace to reach. There is no stain too dark for my forgiveness to cleanse. You are washed, you are clean, you are new. Not because you deserve it, but because I declared it. It means you can live with confidence. Not arrogant confidence in yourself, but humble confidence in me. Confidence that I am who I say I am. Confidence that I will do what I said I will do. Confidence that my plans for you are good. Confidence that my love for you is real. Confidence that your identity as my child is secure no matter what happens in your life. This identity, this unshakable truth that you are my beloved child, is meant to permeate every area of your existence. It should affect how you see yourself when you look in the mirror. It should influence how you respond when someone criticizes you. It should determine how you react when you fail. It should shape how you make decisions. It should guide how you spend your time and your resources. It should color how you view your circumstances. It should anchor you when everything around you is unstable. You are not who you were. You are not who people say you are. You are not who your circumstances suggest you are. You are not who your feelings tell you that you are. You are who I say you are. And I say you are my beloved child, chosen before time began, redeemed by the blood of my Son, indwelt by my Spirit, and destined for glory. That is your identity. That is your reality. That is your foundation. Build your life on this truth. When doubts come, speak this truth. When lies assault your mind, declare this truth. When circumstances contradict this truth, stand on this truth anyway. Because truth is not determined by what you see or feel or experience. Truth is determined by my word. And my word says you are mine. I am not finished with you. I am still working. I am still shaping. I am still transforming. But through all of it, your identity remains constant. You are my child. Today, tomorrow, forever. Nothing can change that. No one can take that from you. It is yours. Permanently, eternally, irrevocably. So when you wake, remember who you are. When you face challenges, remember who you are. When you are tempted to believe lies, remember who you are. When you fall, remember who you are. When you succeed, remember who you are. In every moment of every day, let this truth be the lens through which you see everything. You are my beloved child. You are chosen. You are loved. You are accepted. You are forgiven. You are free. You are empowered. You are transformed. You are mine. And being mine means you have access to everything I am. My strength becomes your strength. My wisdom becomes your wisdom. My peace becomes your peace. My joy becomes your joy. My love becomes your love. Everything that belongs to me belongs to you because you are my child. And in my family, my children share in everything I have. This is not prosperity gospel that promises you will never have problems, or always have abundance, or get everything you want. This is identity gospel that promises you will always have me, which is infinitely better than anything else you could ever possess. Because having me means you have everything you truly need. Not everything you want in the moment, but everything you need for life and godliness. Everything you need to fulfill the purpose I created you for. Everything you need to walk in the calling I have placed on your life. Your identity as my child is the most important truth about you. It is more important than your job title. It is more important than your relationship status. It is more important than your bank balance. It is more important than your accomplishments. It is more important than your failures. It is more important than your past. It is more important than your future plans, because all of those things can change, but this cannot. You are my child, forever. So live from this place. Make decisions from this foundation. View yourself through this lens. Respond to life from this security, and watch how everything changes. Not because your circumstances necessarily change, though they might, but because you change. Your perspective shifts. Your confidence grows. Your fear diminishes. Your peace increases. Your joy becomes independent of your circumstances. Your hope becomes unshakable, because it is all rooted in the unchanging truth of who you are in me. You are my beloved child. I chose you. I love you. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. I will never stop working in you and through you. I will never give up on you. I will never change my mind about you. You are mine, and I am yours, forever and ever. This is the gospel. This is the good news. This is the foundation of everything. You are my beloved child, chosen, loved, accepted, forgiven, free, secure, empowered, transformed, mine. Live in this truth. Rest in this reality. Build on this foundation. And let it change everything about how you see yourself, how you see me, and how you walk through this world. You are not an orphan. You are not a servant. You are not a stranger. You are my child, my beloved, precious, treasured child. And nothing in all creation will ever change that. When the Apostle Paul wrote to the believers in Rome, he said that nothing can separate us from the love of God. Not death nor life, not angels nor demons, not the present nor the future, not any powers, not height nor depth. Not anything in all creation can separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Do you understand what this means? It means your identity as my beloved child is absolutely secure. There is no force in the universe powerful enough to change it. There is no circumstance challenging enough to threaten it. There is no sin serious enough to undo it. You are mine, permanently, completely, irrevocably. This should radically alter how you live. When you know you are loved with a love that cannot be lost, you stop living in fear. When you know you are accepted with an acceptance that cannot be withdrawn, you stop performing for approval. When you know you are secure with a security that cannot be shaken, you stop clinging desperately to things that cannot satisfy. You are free, truly free. Free to be who I created you to be. Free to pursue what I have called you to pursue. Free to love without fear of rejection. Free to risk without fear of failure. Free to live without fear of loss. This is what it means to be my child. This is the life I have called you to. Not a life of striving and performing and pretending, but a life of resting and receiving and becoming. Resting in my love, receiving my grace, becoming who you already are in me. Because you are not trying to become my child. You already are my child. You are simply learning to live in the fullness of that reality. And as you do, you will discover that everything else begins to fall into place. Not because your circumstances magically improve, though they might, but because your perspective changes. You stop seeing problems as proof that I have abandoned you and start seeing them as opportunities to experience my faithfulness. You stop seeing challenges as evidence that you are not enough and start seeing them as invitations to discover that I am more than enough. You stop seeing failures as disqualifications and start seeing them as platforms for grace to shine. Your identity as my beloved child becomes the interpretive key for everything that happens in your life. When good things come, you receive them as gifts from a loving Father. When hard things come, you trust that I am working them for your good. When confusing things come, you rest in the knowledge that I see what you cannot see. When painful things come, you lean into my comfort. When joyful things come, you celebrate with gratitude. In all circumstances, in every season, through every experience, your identity remains the same. You are my child, and I am your Father, and nothing can ever change that. So stop trying to earn what you already have. Stop working for what has already been given. Stop striving for what is already yours. You are my child. Receive it, believe it, rest in it, live from it, and watch how everything changes. Amen. If this message touched your heart, share with someone who needs to hear these words. Type Amen in the comments to declare that you receive your identity as a beloved child of God. Let the truth of who you are in Christ become the foundation of everything you do, everything you believe, and everything you hope for. You are not who the world says you are. You are who God says you are, and He says you are His beloved child, chosen before the foundation of the world, and destined to walk in the fullness of His love and grace forever.